Last Christmas, well, that one did something to me. Changed how I see a lot of things. I'll never forget what my son said that night on the phone. He goes, "We weren't expecting you this Christmas, Dad. You understand, right? Like I was some salesman who overstayed his welcome." That sentence, those exact words, they keep playing in my head even now, months later. Sometimes I wake up at 3 in the morning and I can still hear his voice saying it. Matter of fact, like he was canceling a dentist appointment. You know, I spent 40-some years working on cars, busted knuckles, grease under my fingernails that never quite came clean. Did it all for him, for my boy, Matthew, Matt, we called him. Still call him, I guess. Though we don't talk much anymore. My name's Walt Morrison. I'm 68 years old, and I've spent most of my life keeping my mouth shut about things that matter. Used to figure why drag other folks into your business when they can't fix it anyway. But some stuff doesn't settle quiet. Some things sit in your chest like rust, eating through you slowly. Before I get into what happened, tell me, where are you listening from? I'm curious. Sometimes I wonder if other folks out there have been through something like this. If I'm the only one sitting in a quiet house, wondering how it all went sideways. Drop a comment. Let me know. Maybe it'll help me feel less alone in this. Anyway, where do I even start with this mess? Matt's 36 now. Got himself a nice house in one of those suburbs outside Denver. You know the type, every house looks the same. HOA tells you what color you can paint your mailbox. His wife Jenna picked it out, said it was perfect for raising kids. Good schools, safe streets, all that. I co-signed the mortgage. See, that's the part I never told anybody. Not my brother, not my poker buddies, nobody. Matt had some credit trouble coming out of college. Nothing major, just some late payments, couple maxed out cards. Kids make mistakes, right? So when he came to me, all nervous, saying the bank needed a co-signer, what was I going to do? Tell him no, this was my boy. The same kid I taught to ride a bike in the Kmart parking lot. The same one I stayed up with when he had nightmares after his mother left. Yeah, his mother. That's probably where I should back up a bit. Karen left when Matt was barely 10. Just left, packed up while I was at work, took her jewelry box and her good dresses, left everything else. Even left Matt's school pictures on the fridge. I came home to him sitting on the front steps, backpack still on, waiting for someone to let him in the house. She'd locked the door and put the key back under the fake rock. Never did figure out why she left. Exactly. The divorce papers said irreconcilable differences, which is lawyer talk for none of your damn business. She moved to Phoenix, remarried some real estate guy, sent Matt birthday cards for a couple years, then those stopped too. So it was just me and him. I won't lie and say I was father of the year or nothing. I didn't know how to braid hair for picture day when he was going through that long hair phase. Didn't know what to say when he got dumped by his first girlfriend. But I showed up. Every baseball game, even the away ones. Every parent-teacher conference, even when Mrs. Henderson wanted to talk for 40 minutes about his potential while I had transmissions to rebuild. I taught him to change oil, check tire pressure, basic stuff every man should know. Taught him to shake hands firm, look people in the eye, keep your word even when it costs you something, especially when it costs you something. When he graduated high school, I was the one in the stands with the camera that didn't work right, taking blurry pictures and cheering too loud. When he got into Colorado State, I drove him up there myself, helped him move into the dorms, pretended not to notice when he was embarrassed by my truck, my clothes, the way I talked to his roommates' parents. College wasn't cheap. I took extra shifts, worked Saturdays, sold my '67 Camaro that I'd been restoring for 15 years. That car was going to be my retirement project. But Matt needed books, meal plans, all kinds of fees they don't tell you about in the brochures. I figured I'd have time for another project car someday. Funny how someday never comes, isn't it? He met Jenna his junior year. Pretty girl, I'll give her that. Came from money. Her dad owned 3 dental practices. First time I met her parents, they looked at me like I was the help. Maybe I was reading into it. But when her mother asked what I did, and I said mechanic, she said, "Oh, how interesting." In that way, that means it ain't interesting at all. But Matt loved her, so I tried. God knows I tried. Bought a new shirt for their engagement dinner. Learned to use the right fork at their fancy restaurant. Kept my mouth shut when her father made jokes about grease monkeys after 3 glasses of wine. The wedding cost more than I made in a year. Her parents paid for most of it, thank God. But there were all these extra things Matt came to me for. The honeymoon upgrade. The photographer Jenna really wanted. the special cufflinks that matched his grandfather's, my father's that I'd given him. "Don't worry, Dad," he kept saying. "When Jenna and I get settled, we'll pay you back." I never asked him to. They moved into an apartment first, then started looking at houses. That's when the mortgage thing came up. Matt called me on a Tuesday night. Could hear Jenna in the background, coaching him on what to say. "It's just a formality, Dad. The bank needs a cosigner, but we'll be making all the payments. You won't have to do anything. It's just your signature." Just my signature. Like signatures don't mean nothing. Like I didn't teach him that your name on a paper is your word, your bond, everything you stand for. But I signed. Of course, I signed. The house was nice. Real nice. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. One of those kitchen islands everybody wants. Now, first time I visited, Jenna gave me the tour like she was a real estate agent. Kept mentioning the property values, the investment potential, how the schools were rated. Never once said thank you for making it possible. Neither did Matt. That was 4 years ago. The grandkids came pretty quick. First Emma, then little Jake. 2 years later, beautiful kids. Smart like their dad, pretty like their mom. I loved those kids from the minute I held them. Emma had this way of grabbing onto my finger when she was a baby. Wouldn't let go. Jake would laugh at everything. Peekaboo could go on for an hour with that boy. I started noticing things maybe 3 years back. Little things. You know how you can feel when you're not wanted somewhere? Like when you walk into a store and they watch you a little too close? It was like that, but in my son's house, Jenna would tense up when I came over. Always had somewhere to be right after I arrived. "Oh, Walt, I didn't know you were coming today. I've got yoga in 20 minutes. Even when Matt had invited me, the kids' schedules always seemed to conflict with my visits. Soccer practice, dance lessons, play dates, always something. I'd drive 40 minutes to see them, spend 15 minutes in an empty house with Matt checking his phone, then drive home. Christmas 3 years ago was when I first really felt it. I'd bought presents for everyone, spent 2 weeks shopping, trying to find the perfect things. Got Emma this dollhouse she'd pointed out in a store window. Jake got a train set, real wood, not plastic junk. Even found Jenna this scarf thing the lady at Macy's said was very in. They opened them, said thanks, but I could tell. You know when a thank you is just words? When there's nothing behind it, that's what it was. Later, when I was helping clean up wrapping paper, I saw the dollhouse already in the donation pile in the garage. Emma has so many toys, Jenna explained. We're trying to teach her about giving to less fortunate kids. Next Christmas, I swear to God I saw that same scarf I'd bought Jenna wrapped up for her sister. But I kept showing up, kept trying. What else was I going to do? This was my family. My only family. Father's Day hurt the most. Not because they forgot. I could handle forgotten. It was the Facebook post that got me. Matt posted this long thing about Jenna's dad. Picture of them on the golf course. Happy Father's Day to the best man I know. Thanks for showing me what real success looks like. The best man he knows? I read that sitting in my kitchen, coffee going cold, wondering what I'd done wrong. What kind of success was he looking for that I didn't show him? I kept a roof over his head. Food on the table. Never missed a day of work. Never came home drunk. Never raised a hand to him. But I didn't have 3 dental practices. Didn't have a country club membership. Didn't have the right words at dinner parties. My birthday came and went last year with a group text from Emma's phone. Happy 67th birthday, Grandpa. I'm 68. Been 68 for a while now. Nobody corrected it. Nobody responded when I wrote back, "Thanks, sweetheart, but I'm 68. Just silence. You want to know something stupid? I kept paying for things. Not because they asked, they stopped asking, but because I'd noticed stuff, like Matt's truck needed new tires. So I'd have my buddy at the shop do it, put it on my tab. The kids needed school supplies. I'd drop off bags of stuff. Always when Jenna wasn't home, Matt would take them, nod. Sometimes remember to say thanks. I told myself I was being a good father, a good grandfather. But really, I think I was trying to buy my way into their lives. Pathetic, right? A grown man, almost 70, still trying to make his son love him. The mortgage payments are the part that kills me. See, Matt had some trouble about 2 years back. His company downsized. He was out of work for 3 months. He called me, panic in his voice. "Dad, I can't lose the house. The kids, Jenna, I can't do that to them." So I started making the payments. $2,300 a month. That's more than my Social Security. I had to dip into my retirement savings, the money I'd put away for, hell, I don't even know what for. Maybe some idea that one day I'd travel, see the ocean, do something besides sit in this empty house. Matt said it was temporary, just until he got back on his feet. He got a new job after 3 months. Better pay than before, he said, but the payments, I just kept making them. He never brought it up, so neither did I. It became automatic, literally. Set up the bank transfer and tried not to think about it. $2,300 a month, $27,600 a year, for a house where I wasn't welcome. Last Thanksgiving was rough. I showed up with my usual pumpkin pie from the grocery store, the good one from the bakery section, not the cheap brand. Jenna's parents were there, her brother too, with his new wife. The table was full, no place set for me. "Oh, Walt," Jenna said, like she'd forgotten I existed. "Matt didn't tell me you were coming. Let me get you a plate. You can eat in the living room with the kids." In the living room with the kids. While the family ate in the dining room, I sat on that couch, paper plate on my lap, listening to them laugh in the other room. Emma and Jake barely looked up from their iPads. When I tried to talk to them, ask about school, they gave me one-word answers. The TV was loud, some cartoon I didn't recognize. I left before dessert. Nobody noticed. That brings me to last month. December 15th. Matt called around 8 in the evening. I'd been sitting in my chair watching the news, but not really watching, just letting the voices fill up the quiet. "Hey, Dad," he said. "Casual, like we talked all the time instead of once a month?" "Hey, son, how's everything?" "Good, good. Listen, about Christmas, here's where my stupid heart actually hoped for a second. Maybe he was calling to make sure I'd come. Maybe to ask what I wanted for dinner. If I had any special requests. Maybe this year would be different. We weren't expecting you this Christmas, Dad. You understand, right?" There it was, that sentence that's been rattling around in my head ever since. What? I actually said it out loud? What? Like I didn't hear him? It's just Jenna's whole family is coming. Her cousins from California. The house is going to be packed. And with your hearing and everything, all that noise, we figured you'd be more comfortable at home. My hearing. I hear fine. I mean, maybe the TV's a little louder than it used to be, but I heard him clear enough. Heard every word. "I'm your father," I said. Shouldn't have had to say it, but I did. "I know, Dad. Look, we'll see you after New Year's, maybe. We can have lunch or something." "Lunch or something?" Like I'm a business meeting to pencil in. "Matt, I gotta go, Dad. Jake needs help with his homework." He hung up. Just like that. I sat there holding that phone for I don't know how long. Just holding it, like maybe he'd call back. Say he was joking. Say of course I should come for Christmas. What was he thinking? But he didn't call back. You know what I did? I got in my truck and drove. Didn't even put on a coat, just drove. Ended up at their house somehow, like my truck knew the way without me thinking about it. Parked across the street, lights off. Their house was all lit up. Those fancy white lights Jenna likes, perfect like a magazine. Through the window, I could see them moving around. Matt carrying Jake on his shoulders. Jenna laughing at something. Her parents were already there. I recognized her dad's Mercedes in the driveway. They looked happy, complete. Like nothing was missing. Like nobody was missing. I drove home, sat in my driveway for another hour, engine running, heat blowing, trying to understand how I became someone you don't expect for Christmas. When did that happen? What day, what moment did my son decide I wasn't worth the trouble? I went inside eventually, made myself a sandwich I didn't eat, poured a drink I didn't finish, went to bed but didn't sleep. Next morning, I did something I hadn't done in years. I went through my finances, really looked at them. Social Security coming in, pension from 40 years of busted knuckles, savings account that used to have plans attached to it. Then I looked at the automatic payments. Insurance, utilities, the usual, and there it was. $2,300 every month, like clockwork. To Mortgage Wells, Fargo Math, Morrison. I did the math. $27,600 a year, times 2 years, $55,200. That's what I'd paid since he got that new job. The better one. That's not counting what I paid before during his unemployment. Not counting the co-signing, the credit I put on the line. $55,000 to not be expected for Christmas. I looked up the house value online. These websites, they tell you everything now. Estimated value, $480,000. They'd bought it for $320,000. Matt and Jenna were sitting on $160,000 in equity. Equity I'd been paying for while eating sandwiches for dinner to save money. Something broke in me then. Not like anger, not exactly. More like clarity. Like when you're working on an engine for hours, Can't figure out what's wrong. Then suddenly you see it. The problem that was right there all along. I wasn't family. I was an ATM with inconvenient feelings. So I did it. Logged into my bank account, found the automatic payment, and canceled it. Just clicked a button. $2,300 that wouldn't leave my account on January 1st. Felt nothing. That's the weird part. Should have felt guilty, angry, something, but I just felt empty. Like I'd already been empty and just finally noticed. 2 days later, my phone exploded. 18 missed calls. That's not an exaggeration. 18. 12 from Matt. 6 from Jenna. Text messages in all caps. Call me now, Dad. What did you do? This is urgent. I let it ring. Made myself coffee. Sat on my porch even though it was December cold. Watched the neighbor's cat stalk a bird. Normal things while my phone buzzed like an angry wasp. Finally picked up on the 19th call. What the hell, Dad? No hello? No nothing. Just straight to yelling. Hello, Matt. The mortgage payment bounced. The bank called. They said the automatic payment was canceled. What did you do? I canceled it. Silence. For once, my son had nothing to say. You what? Why would you do that? Here's where I said the thing I'd been thinking for 2 days straight. If I'm not welcome in the house I helped buy, I won't be paying for it. Dad, that's insane. You can't just... I can. I did. This is about Christmas? Are you seriously that petty? Petty. Interesting word choice from a man who hadn't called me on my birthday, Father's Day, or any day that wasn't about money. It's not about Christmas, Matt. Then what? How do you explain a lifetime of small cuts? How do you tell your son that you finally realized love shouldn't be a bill you pay monthly? I'm done, I said instead. The house is in your name, the equity, all that value, that's yours. Figure it out. Dad, you don't understand. Jenna's pregnant again. We need that money for... Pregnant? First I'd heard of it. Another grandchild I'd see through windows, maybe. Yeah, 3 months. We were going to tell you. When? After the kid graduated college? That's not fair. Fair? I actually laughed. Didn't mean to. It just came out. You want to talk about fair? I haven't had a real conversation with my grandkids in 2 years. I sit in parking lots outside their schools sometimes, just to see them. That fair? I paid $55,000 to be forgotten. That fair? Nobody forgot you, Dad. You're being dramatic. Name one time you called me just to talk. Not about money, not about needing something, just to talk. Silence again. That's what I thought. So you're going to make us lose our house? Punish your grandchildren because your feelings are hurt? There it was. The guilt trip. The manipulation. Making me the bad guy for not bankrolling their life anymore. You make good money, Matt. You told me so yourself. Budget better? Get a loan? Asked Jenna's parents. They've got plenty. I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe it took me this long. He hung up on me. Just like that night he uninvited me from Christmas. Click. Done. Over. Jenna called an hour later. Different tactics, same goal. Walt, the children are asking where Grandpa is. They miss you. Do they? What are their middle names, Jenna? What? Emma and Jake. What are their middle names? What does that have to do with anything? I don't know them. Their grandfather doesn't know their middle names because nobody ever told me, so don't pretend they're sitting there missing me. You're being cruel. I'm being honest. Matt's destroyed. You've really hurt him. Good. Maybe now he knows how it feels. She made a sound like she'd been slapped. I can't believe you just said that. Believe it. Believe all of it. I'm done pretending we're a family when I'm just a checkbook. Nobody thinks of you as a checkbook. When's my birthday, Jenna? What? My birthday. When is it? Summer sometime? March 15th. But you knew when the mortgage payment was due, didn't you? She hung up too. The emails started after that. Long ones from Matt about responsibility and family obligations. And how could I do this to them? Shorter ones from Jenna with links to articles about elderly mental health, dementia symptoms, how to know when your parent needs help. They think I'm losing it. Maybe it's easier for them to believe that than to admit they pushed me away. My brother called yesterday. Dennis lives in Florida now. Matt had reached out to him, spinning some story about me having a breakdown. Walt, what's going on up there? I stopped paying for a house I'm not welcome in. Matt says, you're confused. Maybe having some issues. Dennis, I'm fine, clear as I've ever been. The boy took advantage. I finally said enough. Long pause. Dennis knows me. Knows I don't make decisions lightly. How much were you paying? $2,300 a month. He whistled, low and long. Jesus, Walt. Yeah. And they cut you out? Like I was never there. You need me to come up. Nah, I'm good. Better than I've been in a while, actually. And that's the truth. I am better. The money's mine again. The obligation's gone. The pretending's over. But it's not clean, you know? Nothing ever is. I drove by their house on Christmas Eve. Don't know why. Maybe hoping to see something different. Maybe just habit. Cars packed the driveway, lined the street. Through the windows, all those perfect lights. I could see them. The whole family, Jenna's family. Everyone. Matt was laughing, holding up a glass of something. Toast, maybe. Emma in a red dress. Jake in a little suit. Perfect Christmas card photo. I sat there maybe 5 minutes. Not crying. Nothing like that. Just observing. Like watching a TV show about someone else's life. Because that's what it was, really. Someone else's life that I'd been paying for. Drove home, heated up soup. Watched Die Hard because it was on. Went to bed at 9:30. Christmas morning, I made myself pancakes. Real ones, not from a box. Bacon, too. Sat at my kitchen table. No rush. No place to be. The phone didn't ring. I didn't expect it to. Around noon, something happened that I didn't expect. A knock on the door, not Matt. I knew his knock softer. It was Emma, my granddaughter. By herself, which was strange. She had a package wrapped in paper I recognized from the dollar store. Grandpa? Emma. What are you doing here? Where's your parents? They don't know I'm here. I rode my bike. That's 3 miles in December. Cold. This little girl rode 3 miles. Come in, you're freezing. She came in, still holding the package. Looked around like she'd never been here before. Maybe she hadn't. I couldn't remember the last time the kids had been to my house. This is for you, she said, holding out the package. For me? For Christmas. I bought it with my allowance. I opened it careful, like it might break. Inside was a picture frame, wooden, with a photo I'd never seen, me and her at some birthday party. Probably 3 years ago. I'm helping her with something. Can't tell what, and we're both smiling. Real smiles. Not camera smiles. Thank you, sweetheart. I had to stop, clear my throat. This is real nice. Mom and Dad are really mad at you. I know. They say you're being mean. What do you think? She thought about it. Really thought. This little 10-year-old girl considering the question serious like. I think everybody's sad. Yeah? You're sad because you're alone. They're sad because of money. Everybody's sad. Out of the mouths of babes, right? You're pretty smart, you know that. Grandpa, can I ask you something? Sure. Why don't you come over anymore? How do you answer that? How do you tell a child that love got tangled up with money and pride and hurt feelings until nobody could separate them anymore? It's complicated, sweetheart. That's what Dad says, too. She stayed for hot chocolate. I drove her home, bike in the truck bed, dropped her at the corner so her parents wouldn't see. She hugged me before she got out. Quick, but real. Bye, Grandpa. Bye, Emma. Thank you for the picture. Haven't heard from any of them since. It's been 2 weeks now. The mortgage thing got sorted, I guess. House hasn't gone into foreclosure, so they figured something out. Matt probably went to Jenna's parents, tail between his legs, or got a loan. Not my problem anymore. Is that cold? Maybe. But I'm tired of being warm for people who leave me in the cold. I've been thinking a lot lately about what I did wrong, what I could have done different. Maybe I should have spoke up sooner. Maybe I shouldn't have made it so easy for them to take me for granted. Maybe if Karen had stayed, things would have been different. But maybe doesn't change nothing. Here's what I know. I gave my son everything I had. Not just money, time, energy, love, whatever I could scrape together. I thought that's what fathers did. You sacrifice, you provide, you shut up about your own needs because that's the job. But somewhere along the way, sacrifice became expectation, providing became obligation, and shutting up became disappearing. I think about that Christmas call a lot. We weren't expecting you. When did I become unexpected? Was it gradual, like erosion? Or was there a moment, a specific day when Matt looked at me and thought, he doesn't fit anymore? I'll never know. And maybe that's the worst part. Not the money, not the loneliness, but the not knowing where it went wrong. New Year's Eve was quiet. Dennis called from Florida. We talked for an hour. He told me I did the right thing. You can't buy love, Walt, and if you could, it wouldn't be worth having. Smart man. My brother. Smarter than me, anyway. I'm not looking for sympathy here. I made my choices. Signed those papers, wrote those checks, kept my mouth shut when I should have spoken up. That's on me. But I wonder how many other folks are out there doing the same thing, paying for love that should be free, buying their way into lives that should welcome them without a price tag. Would you have done different? Would you keep paying, just to keep the peace? Just to see your grandkids on Christmas? Even from the living room, while everyone else sits at the dining table? I don't know the right answer. I just know I couldn't do it anymore. The house is quiet now. It was quiet before, but it's a different kind of quiet. Before it was the quiet of waiting. Waiting for the phone to ring, for an invitation, for things to get better. Now it's just quiet, and somehow that's better. At least it's honest. I keep Emma's picture on the mantel. That one real moment in 3 years of pretend. Sometimes I look at it and wonder if she'll remember me when she's older. Really remember me, not just as the grandpa who caused drama that one Christmas. Maybe she'll understand one day. Maybe she won't. Maybe none of them will. But I'll tell you what, I sleep better now. No more lying awake, wondering what I did wrong, how to fix it, how to earn my way back into their good graces. Because that's what I was doing. Earning it like love was a paycheck you had to work for. My bank account's healthier. I might even take a trip this spring. Always wanted to see the Grand Canyon. Seems silly, living in Colorado all these years and never making it down there. But when you're paying for someone else's life, your own plans get real small. Matt called once, last week. Left a voicemail. Dad, the kids are asking about you. If you want to apologize, we can talk about maybe getting together for Easter. If I want to apologize, for what? For stopping the money? For finally saying enough? For refusing to pay for the privilege of being forgotten? I didn't call back. Didn't delete the message either. Sometimes I play it just to remind myself what I'm not missing. Because here's the thing. Nobody tells you about getting older. You start running out of energy for bullshit. For pretending things are fine when they're not. For making excuses for people who don't make time for you. I'm 68 years old. If I'm lucky, I got maybe 15, 20 good years left. Years where I can still drive, still think clear, still do for myself. I'm not wasting them on people who only remember I exist when the checks stop coming. That might sound harsh. Hell, it is harsh, but it's also true. And at my age, true is all I got energy for. Sometimes I think about what Matt learned from me. I taught him to change oil, to work hard, be responsible, take care of his family. But did I teach him to take people for granted? Did I make it too easy to use me? Or did he learn that somewhere else? From someone else? In spite of everything I tried to teach him? I'll never know that either. What I do know is this. I'm done paying for love. Done buying my way into memories. I'm not even part of, done pretending that obligation and family are the same thing. The mortgage payment would have come out again. This month, $2,300. Instead, I put $1,000 in savings and spent the rest on a new recliner. Real leather, not that fake stuff. Sits perfect, supports my back just right. I sit in it every evening now, coffee in hand, watching the news or reading one of those paperbacks I never had time for. Sometimes I fall asleep in it. Wake up at midnight with a crick in my neck. But it's my chair, in my house. Bought with my money. Nobody else has sat in it. Nobody else will. It's mine. Is that lonely? Sure, but I was lonely before too. Lonely in a room full of people who didn't see me. Lonely writing checks for a family that didn't include me. At least this lonely is honest. I think about Matt sometimes. Wonder if he thinks about me. Not the angry thoughts. Those have mostly passed. Just wonder. Does he miss me at all? Or just the money? Does he tell the kids anything about me? Or am I already being erased, edited out of the family history? Emma's picture tells me I existed. At least for that moment, that's something, I guess. The other day I ran into Tom Bailey at the grocery store. His boy went to school with Matt. Tom asked after him. How he's doing? Don't really know, I told him. We don't talk much. Tom nodded like he understood. Maybe he does. Maybe there's more of us than I thought. Fathers who became strangers to their own kids. Walking around with our hurt, keeping it quiet, pretending everything's fine. That's tough, Walt, he said. Yeah, it is. We left it at that. What else is there to say? You know what the funny thing is? I still love my son. Still love those grandkids. Love doesn't just stop because someone treats you bad. It just changes, becomes something you carry alone instead of something you share. I'd still show up if there was a real emergency. If Matt was in the hospital, if the kids needed something serious, but the bank of Dad is closed for regular withdrawals. The wallet's shut, the automatic payments are canceled, all of them. And the invitations, well, those were canceled a long time ago. I just finally got the message. Winter's almost over now. Starting to see some green coming back to the yard. Might plant a garden this year. Tomatoes, peppers, the stuff I used to grow when Matt was little. He used to help getting more dirt on himself than in the pots. Different times, different people maybe. Or maybe we're the same people. just with our masks off now. No more pretending. That call before Christmas still echoes sometimes. We weren't expecting you. 4 words that said everything. Well, don't expect me anymore, son. Don't expect the checks, the excuses, the willing blindness to being used. Don't expect me to show up where I'm not wanted, pay for space I'm not allowed to occupy, or apologize for finally choosing myself. I'm done expecting things too. Done expecting gratitude, recognition, or even basic respect. Done expecting family to mean what I thought it meant. We're even now, nobody expecting nothing from nobody. And somehow in all that nothing, I found something. Found my backbone, maybe. Found my worth wasn't tied to my wallet. Found that being alone by choice beats being alone in a crowd. Is this how it ends? A man and his son, strangers with the same last name. A grandfather who's just a story the kids might hear someday. A family that was really just a financial arrangement nobody wanted to admit. Maybe, probably, but if that's how it ends, at least it ends honest. No more lies, no more pretending, no more payments for love that was never really there. I look at Emma's picture one more time before I turn off the lights. That little girl on a bike in December, bringing me the only real gift I got in years. Not because anyone told her to. Not because she had to. Just because maybe there's hope in that. Maybe not. Either way, I'm done waiting to find out. The chair's comfortable. The house is paid for, has been for years. The silence isn't so bad once you stop fighting it. And tomorrow? Tomorrow, I'm driving to the Grand Canyon. Finally, might take a week, might take 2. Nobody's expecting me anywhere, after all. For once, that feels like freedom instead of hurt. Strange how that works. Strange how the thing that breaks you can also be the thing that frees you. All it takes is finally seeing it clear, accepting what is instead of hoping for what should be. My son said he wasn't expecting me for Christmas. Turns out, that was the gift. The truth, wrapped up in 4 words. The push I needed to stop pushing. The permission to stop paying for something that was already gone. I canceled the mortgage payment. But really, I canceled a lot more than that. Canceled the pretense, the obligation, the one-sided relationship that was draining me dry in more ways than one. And you know what? I'd do it again. Maybe sooner this time. Maybe the first time I sat alone on Thanksgiving. Or the first Father's Day with no call. Or the first birthday they got wrong. Or maybe not. Maybe it had to happen just like this. Maybe I had to pay $55,000 to learn that love don't cost nothing, but respect sure as hell does. Would you call him your son after that? After all of it? The forgotten birthdays, the second-hand Christmas gifts, the living room exile while the real family ate in the dining room? Would you keep paying? Keep showing up? Keep pretending it didn't hurt? Or would you do what I did? Cancel the payment and accept the cost. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I'm done. Done explaining, done justifying, done hoping for something different. This is my story, my truth, my choice. And if that makes me the villain in their story, so be it. Every story needs one, I guess. Might as well be the one who stopped writing the checks. At least I can afford my own coffee now. Good coffee, not the cheap stuff. Small victories, but they're mine. All mine. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.